YouTube coming online. Hopefully, again, a quiet night. Sorry we weren't on last night, by the way, but unfortunately we had some issues going on because of the fact that we had a bit of a problem with our monitor situation. But as of right now, that appears to be fixed, so some good news on that. So we can show you more about what's going on. The problem I've got is that, unfortunately, we have one monitor here, and I can't do anything to show you what's going on unless I have this for Twitch and YouTube. Now, on Facebook, I can take this information and put it right on the screen, but I can't do that with Twitch and YouTube, unfortunately. So I wish that would we could do something like that, but we just don't have the power to route that in there, unfortunately. So they had to kind of curtail the activities from last night into the rest of the evening, so we weren't able to get away with giving you an idea as to what was going on with the forecast, but we are definitely going to be able to do that for tonight. So rest of the evening, no problem at all. More chances of rain way into the future. We'll talk more about that coming up here in just a little bit, so stay tuned for more there. And let's go ahead and get things going with Facebook and stand by in 3, 2, 1, here we go. All right, it is peak of the week, Wednesday, the 10th. See, do I have that right? Yes, 10th of June. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austen Onek, keeping you updated with what's going on with the forecast and a bit of a reprieve with the chances of anything involving rainfall across the area. Actually, some pretty good amounts of rainfall in our semi-near future as we go toward next week. So if you have any plans for outdoors, try to get them done in the next few days, because next week from Monday onwards, with the possibility of a new tropical system maybe kind of sort of affecting us, it depends on how things go, we could be looking at the possibility of some soggy conditions. If you remember what it was like a couple of weeks ago, that's what we may be looking at again coming up next week. And some parts of the News 12 viewing area might wind up with the potential of quite a lot of rainfall as we go into the middle part of June. Welcome to everybody who's tuning in, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube, giving you the opportunity to tune in on multiple platforms. If you've never been here before, first of all, welcome to the show. We're coming to you live from downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee at the News 12 studios on Broad Street. If you've got a question about the forecast, please feel free to drop it into the comments section. Would love to hear from you. If you just want to say hi, give your name and an approximate location. Would love to see where everybody's checking in from, but this is your opportunity as the viewer to ask questions and to find out more about what's going on with the weather situation as it stands. So if you have questions and we can't answer it, we'll do our best to point you in the right direction. I'm handling everything here, camera, audio, the web stuff, getting us online and everything else. So if there's a bit of a gap in answering your question, please give me a little bit of grace, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can on that. Thanking again Epicos Comics, Cards, and Games in Chattanooga for being our sponsor for Weather Overtime, your one-stop geek shop. You can stop by epicosccg.com if you'd like to find out more about what's happening around the area there. Let's go ahead and get into the forecast and show you a little bit more about what we're showing into the course of the next several days. That late night nosh is going to be pretty well on the mild side, back in the lower 70s. Best possibility of rainfall, not for tonight, not for Thursday, but as we go into Friday evening. So for tonight, you should not need the rain gear. Looking very quiet across the area, if not just a tad on the humid side, to say the least. Thanking our viewers for sending in some great pictures. Today's is a great combination of flowers below and semi-blue sky above. Thank you very much, News 12 viewer Peter Whipple from Chattanooga, for a view, and I had no idea that these were any type of azaleas. Flame azaleas on Gregory Bald in Great Smoky Mountains. That was taken just shy of a week ago. So thank you, Mr. Peter, for sending in our picture of the day right there. Really great pictures, and if you would like to see what everybody has been sending in, all you have to do is go to our website, WDEF.com/photos. You can drop your pictures off there. You can email them to us, or you can drop them to social media in the comments section. Best way to do it is to go to our website, WDEF.com/photos, and we'll be able to pick them up there a lot easier. A lot of folks are sending them directly to me, but unfortunately, we're having issues with our spam filter. So if you send it directly to my email address that you see on screen from time to time at Onek@WDEF.com, you may not get your picture noticed because of what we're going through with the spam filter. So that being said, may want to think about sending it to one of the other locations out there. Radar, not really showing a lot of anything happening at this point. We did have some scattered showers over parts of eastern Tennessee and back into western North Carolina. Whatever we had of those, and around northern Georgia as well. That is not the case for tonight. Everything is very quiet and dry, and at least where it comes to rain. Humidity, there's plenty of that across the area, but any chance of rain is not going to be happening tonight as we kind of dry out for at least just a little bit anyway. So not doing too totally terrible, but notice where the flow is coming from off of the Atlantic, and then also from solidly a good amount of flow coming in from off the Gulf of Mexico. Severe weather back into Kansas, Iowa, Illinois, earlier into Nebraska and Colorado as this system cuts on through. Now, so far, we are not looking for any severe weather as this front arrives on our doorstep as we get into Friday. We could see some stronger borderline severe weather. Good possibility of that, but it's going to take until Friday afternoon until that system gets to us from out into the Midwest. It'll take a while to go across the Mississippi River. In between here and there, temperatures will be rather on the warm side, back in the 90s during the day, 70s only during the nighttime. Friday morning, this will be knocking on our doorstep and then getting a lot closer to us as we get into and around Friday afternoon. That'll be the best possibility of showers and thunderstorms taking place there. We then see high pressure take over a little bit into Saturday before we get back to the potential of more showers and thunderstorms with our next system arriving from the northwest, and that could kick into gear more thunderstorms into around portions of Saturday, Sunday, but it's what happens afterwards that we're really going to be interested in. There's going to be plenty of flow of moisture off the Gulf of Mexico, no question about that, but what really is going to power things up is possibly a system well down to our south, in fact, over the Pacific, that's a long ways away, no question there, but we will see again more potential of rainfall going on. So for that next system to come through on Sunday, triggering off more showers and thunderstorms as we end the weekend, so no potential of anything drying out really there. Temperatures tonight, northeast Alabama, you'll be back in the high 60s to around the lower 70s. North central Georgia, you may see a few 60s, but mainly 70s. North central Georgia into and around northwest Georgia, either side of I-75. Western North Carolina, you'll be in the 60s. Again, some lower 60s in the much higher elevations, well back to the east of Chattanooga. And southeast Tennessee, I would say comfortable, but it's pretty well sultry out there with numbers back in the high 60s, closer to those higher elevations in the Appalachians and back toward around the area of the plateau. Could be looking at semi-cooler conditions there, but only by a couple of degrees. Now, into the next, say, 48 hours, there's going to be chances of rain Thursday into Friday. Then Friday into Saturday, we catch a bit of a break, and then more activity coming our way Saturday into the evening hours before our next system arrives. Now, that is just for, again, the next 48 hours or so. Taking that out even farther, this is kind of worrying a little bit. This is definitely something to keep our eyes on. Watch this as we go from Monday forward. The rain really ramps up Monday into Tuesday, and there's a very good possibility that we could be seeing some very heavy amounts of rainfall coming on through, and we're talking flash flooding potential once again. This is very important too, to where you see minor amounts, about 1.8 on this model up around Pikeville, and then pushing 6 inches, half a foot of rain into western North Carolina, but not that much down in Rome. Now, the fluctuation will take place over the next several days. These computer models can give us an idea as to what's going on, but it takes time to get from all the way out to next week, all the way back to here. So the closer we get to the event, the better off we'll be able to tell you more of what's going on. So this is right now guidance. It is not carved in stone, but if everything lines up the way these computer models are showing, we could get doused with some more very heavy rainfall coming our way, and that means, again, some possibly dangerous conditions. So we really need to pay attention to that, especially if you are traveling. So keep it tuned to News 12. We'll keep you updated on what we might be seeing here in the semi-near future. Now, into the tropics. New information tonight. You may not have seen just yet. We have a new disturbance in the Bay of Campeche, the southern part of the Gulf, down toward the area to the west of Yucatan and east of the Mexican coastline. Possibility of something developing here, yes, but the news from the National Hurricane Center is showing a 10% chance of development in and about the next week. So this is not a huge potential for a storm. It also looks to be curving its way back toward the west. So this will impact Mexico, and it looks like it's going to head onshore before it really has a chance to develop into something a little bit more catastrophic or dangerous, or whatever words you want to choose. Now, beyond that, that is all that we have in the way of anything really developing, at least on the Atlantic side of things. We had Tropical Storm Boris. That fell apart over areas west of Belize and Guatemala. And right off the coast of Nicaragua, we've got what was Tropical Storm Christina. It is now degraded to a tropical depression, but it is still showing some signs of structure there. Here's the interesting thing. You see those blue lines. Those are what we call spaghetti models, and different lined models going different directions. But when they all kind of line up like this, they really start to give us an idea as to what might be taking place when they're in decent agreement. Now, all the models at this point in time are showing, most of them I should say, showing this storm going up across southern and southeast Mexico and then curving back into the Bay of Campeche. Then, as we go into the forecast from there, this is where things get interesting, because the storm system as of right now, well, I guess we're going to have to, excuse me just one second here. I was talking about that. My computer's getting cranky. I really should keep this around if at all possible. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay, things happen when you're running all this stuff by yourself. So what are we looking at now? Had to go get the remote control for just a second there. The storm system appears, if it survives, to go across the southern bay, and then a lot of them are taking this. A lot of the models are taking the storm system back over to the east Mexican coastline, but some of them are still curving this system back up and around our area. Not a majority of them. That's taking the storm up toward the Rio Grande Valley. But then we see, again, a lot of activity possible here. Again, air around low pressure rotates counterclockwise. So if this area of low pressure holds together and is strong enough, this could really begin to give us a lot more in the way of rainfall toward next week. So this right here, even though it is a continent and ocean away, we really need to watch this, because what happens in the Pacific can do a pretty good job of affecting us on the Atlantic side of things. And we're only a week and 2 days into hurricane season, 3 days, something like that. So it is imperative to watch these events to make certain you know a little bit more about what is going on. So that is where we're going to wind up with the potential of some very heavy amounts of rainfall possible. Flash flooding, not out of the question, so definitely a time to make certain you are weather aware, and keep it tuned to News 12, and we'll keep you updated on all of that. If you're just tuning in and joining us, welcome to the show. This is Weather Overtime from downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee, keeping you updated on what's going on weather-wise around the area. Thanks to everybody who's tuning in on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook for tonight. And again, if you ever have any questions or just want to say hi, drop that into the comments section. Glad to have everybody along. The lights of Erlanger Park, a little hazy from downtown on the north and south towing camera. This is mainly humidity that you're looking at here. Pollutant levels are actually pretty low at this point, so not doing too bad on that. When I last heard the game on the radio, the lookouts were trailing. Didn't look good in the bottom of the ninth. Did they win? Rick Nyman will have more on sports coming up here in just a little while, so stay tuned for that. Rest of the forecast through Flag Day and again into next week. Better chances of rainfall as we close out the weekend. Not much expected for tomorrow. Better potential as that front comes through Friday night into Saturday. Clearing out, sunshine on Sunday, and that's plenty of heat again. The heat index temperatures, when you take the temperature, combine it with the humidity that's out there, you get what's called the feels like index or the heat index. Please don't email me and tell me I'm making it up. There's an actual mathematical formula for this. So anybody who's saying we're just talking about the heat or just to make it worse so that we're doing it for ratings, no, we're not. There's truth to this. This is what the forecast situation is all about. It's all based on mathematics, and this is what we're going to see. Temperatures on the heat index scale back in the high 90s. So outdoors, sunblock and the extra water to make certain you stay hydrated. That would be a very good idea. And then, again, please remember, if you can, bring your American flags back in. Again, they're not really supposed to be out there. According to the Veterans Administration and the U.S. Flag Code, you can leave the flag outside if it's designed to be a durable flag that will survive the elements. I prefer, with my Boy Scout training, to make certain the flag is lowered appropriately and brought back indoors once again. Next week, more clouds, more rainfall. Looks like we may see a bit of a welcome downturn in temperatures. 80s sounds much better than the lower to mid 90s. No record highs just yet, but that is a potential problem out there as well, to where we're going to get some pretty steamy conditions coming our direction, so that could be a bit of a situation there. Once again, early morning coffee forecast, not doing too bad. A lot of clear skies, kind of hazy with the humidity, but again, temperatures back in the lower to mid 70s, so could be the potential of a shirt sleeve morning out there. Personally, I would probably go with something like iced coffee in weather like this. I really should bring back the exclusive Cough Bev Temp Decks. If a certain cable channel can have the Torque on, we can have the Cough Bev Temp Decks. So we'll take a look and see what we're going to be seeing there. But otherwise, not doing too bad on the temperatures. Could be a lot cooler. Chip Chapman is normally in the mornings. He's taking the day off tomorrow, so please welcome our weather intern extraordinaire, Spencer Holt, who will give us an idea as to what's going on with the forecast early in the morning. That starts at 5 a.m. So again, please stay tuned for more there. All right, no questions on Twitch, no questions on YouTube, and things look to be pretty quiet again for tonight. So we're not picking up too much of any concern out there for now. Again, if you have anything for outdoors, next couple of days, tomorrow, Saturday, got relatively rain-free conditions, and then next week and Sunday through the rest of the week looks to be pretty soggy out there. So might want to see about getting your outdoor stuff done as soon as you possibly can. We'll post this web blog on our social media pages, and we'll also again have it available on our different social media pages for Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. I'll post them on all of my social media pages. You can also get them through our app. If you haven't downloaded that yet, you can watch Weather Overtime through the News 12 Weather app. Please download that when you can. And if you have any questions or comments, again, please let us know. Email at the bottom in the blue bar there, aonek@wdef.com. You can reach any of us through our website at wdef.com. If you have any suggestions, anything in the way of events coming up you want to talk about, complaints, if you absolutely must. Again, thanks for everybody for tuning in. We'll have more coming up on News 12 tonight at 11, with Spencer in the morning, and of course I'll be back tomorrow evening with more, so definitely want to stick around for more information there. Live and direct from downtown Chattanooga on Wednesday the 10th of June, I'm Chief Meteorologist Austen Onek. Thank you to everybody who joined us for tonight. Stick around for more with News 12 on air and online.